And our mainstream media is not covering this aspect of the investigation, is not reporting the arguable negligence of this plant. What is going on with our media these days? Walter Cronkite spent 4 days in 1968 at a West Virginia mine explosion that killed dozens of miners. 4 days reporting night after night after night about the safety problems at this mine. His actions led Congress to pass the sort of federal regulations that require workplace safety. That's what the media stood for in 1968. Now it just seems to stand for, well, let's show this cool picture of a mushroom cloud and talk about death and destruction and not even bother to report on a corporation that's flaunting federal law. Daniel Marans, why is the media dropping the ball on this? Do you have an explanation?
Well, David, I think that perhaps one of the best explanations was offered by a veteran newscaster who essentially said that this is a case of CSI versus a PBS News documentary. The Boston marathon bombing is the pursuit of criminal suspects. That's something that apparently is more tantalizing for people than a mundane regulatory oversight. David, on top of that, I would say that this falls within more of the acceptable narrative in terms of what we consider part of the American discussion. In other words, talking about government failure to regulate industry is still, I think, more taboo in the corporate media than talking about Muslim terrorists.
I think you're right. And the unfortunate thing is we talk about terrorism. The number of Americans who were killed by terrorism in 2011, 17. The number of Americans who were killed in workplace accidents in 2011, 4,600. And yet, as you point out, Daniel, our priorities the week of the Boston bombing was trying to chase down these two guys who, yes, they created murder and mayhem, and they deserve a lot of attention and the public help. But the media should be able to focus on multiple things at once. Our society should be able to consider multiple issues at once. And why the media has been unable to do anything other than a cursory discussion of what happened in West Texas and of the safety violations and of the way this plant decided to approach regulation is just unbelievable. Now, having said that, there are a couple of areas where the media has done a great job. Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks, he's done a terrific job covering this. Chris Hayes from MSNBC has done a segment or two. Rachel Maddow finally did a segment the other night. But somebody who has been leading the charge on this, a guy by the name of Mike Elk. We have had him on the show before. He's a labor reporter, staff writer for In These Times magazine. We will talk with Mike on the other side of this break, more on the West Texas explosion and the way that company, that fertilizer plant, flaunted federal regulations and federal law, and also why is the media not paying so much attention? Why are there not more Mike Elks out there? We'll talk with Mike on the other side of this break. You're listening and watching the Take Action News.